Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great. I stayed up pretty late again last night, but that's normal for me when I'm not working. I go to the brain doctor tomorrow, and I hope they find nothing. That's the running joke that I'm sticking with. But just my neck is healing well enough that I can go back to work. But I'm getting like dizziness every time I move my head. I constantly feel like I'm on a boat rocking back and forth. So they just check and make sure that like there's nothing else there. Maybe we could treat that. And then I'm hoping that next week will be my last week off from work unless they find something major. So how's it going? So So this is Heroic Tales #1 on Indiegogo. You just saw the trailer. Any excuse to play that trailer. That trailer is so much fun. I don't know why. It just makes me think of The Incredibles, which is, in my mind, the greatest superhero movie ever made. Not the sequel, the original. The sequel, I got some problems with the sequel. Let's drink some coffee from my Halloween cup from Ben Soto from Halloween Comics. Thank you, Ben. I don't know. I love that. This is like my Halloween go-to mug now. If you don't like Indiegogo, I know some people are politically divided. There's also Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is still available, and it's not shut down anytime soon. It's in demand, meaning it's basically a store at this point. The comics are being printed as we speak. A lot of cool stuff is happening. I'm gonna find the picture while I'm gonna keep talking while I'm looking for something. Somebody said, yeah, the third act of the Incredibles second movie falls apart. I have to agree. Okay, I got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Okay, first off, let me bring this. Okay. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about that? I'll make that big. I finally found a company that will make the shirt the way I want it. Now, it's half the cost of what I found from other people, so I can make them affordable. I probably about $30 a shirt. Now, originally I found a place and it was like for a small order and then shipping, everything like that, it was going to be like $60 a shirt. So I just said no. So I found this place. Now, it's polyester. Is that a deal breaker with people? I just want to get before I place an order, before I pay for it, is polyester a deal breaker? I would ideally like to get cotton, and I can't find any place that does cotton. So, but I love that. That's what I want my shirt to look like. And some people were telling me that they want just like covers on them, like they want that back cover on a shirt. I could do that too. I could do that at most places. That'll just be like an image on the front. I got a place by me, but I got to check it out. So just give me a heads up. I'll ask on Twitter, but before I pay and get stuck with a box of shirts, just let me know. Okay, continue this. Next order of business. Yeah, that's what it says. 100% polyester. I'm trying to think of what a polyester shirt feels like. Indiegogo. I'm just trying to wake up. That's a cool shirt. Yeah, it looks great, but you know, now I got to see if I can find any place that could do it. Or a cotton shirt. I mean, that would be awesome. But polyester shirts, like some people don't like them, so I'm just asking before before other people complain or whatever. All right, next order of business. It's Torchbearer Studios. It's time for the show. Thank you, Torchbearer. Thank you, Steve. Marcus is here. How you going, Marcus? How's everything with Don last night? Don invited me to be on Don Draws. I love Don. Let me take a sip of coffee. But I went to New York City. I went to Comic-Con. I did not go to Comic-Con. I got to the city at 7 o'clock after Comic-Con. I just for a couple of reasons. I'm a little annoyed that Comic-Con is packed, and it's manga, and it's it's cosplay, and it's movies, and it's not as much comic books as it used to be. But that's not really I just didn't go because of with this neck healing and this dizziness. I didn't really want to deal with crowds, so I didn't go. I really should have, but I didn't go. And then Vaughn Coleman calls me up. Vaughn Coleman has Phenomenova, which I looked at. We went to a restaurant the other night, and he whipped it out, and I held it. And I didn't read it, though. He was like, "Are you reading?" I said, "I don't want to read it." I said, "I don't want to read 4 pages here in a restaurant and out of context." And he seemed to like that answer. So, but I just said, I just want to see how it feels. I want to see how it looks on the paper. Looks great. So Vaughn calls me and says, "Hey, John, me and Renee were Renee from Irene Strakowski, who does Feed This. She goes, let's meet up." So Thursday night we went. And I just met them in the lobby. I met Aaron Sparrow. I met Chris McWilliams, who was inker for DC. And we all hung out, except Reedy. We kept playing phone tag. And the thing about Reedy is her star is really on the rise. Fiendish was doing so good. People were courting her to go here and go here. So me and Vaughn were like, hey, we didn't get invited to the cool guy parties. So we missed her. So then Renee messages me, gives me her phone number. She's like, "Call me. Let's hang out." So I call her. We just kept missing each other. We kept missing each other. So I never got to see Renee. But me and Vaughn hung out, and a couple of Vaughn's buddies, and I feel really bad that I can't remember their names. But we went to a Marvel party at some bar, and I got to meet Dave Mack, got to meet Adam Kubert, CB Cebulski, Mark Brooks, and had pleasant conversations. And I forget the name of another guy, but we ended up talking to this other gentleman, and it was fun. It was a fun night. I did not want to drink. I'm not much of a drinker to begin with. Like, I will drink in the safety of my home. If Marcus has me over for a weekend and he's like, "Hey, let's have a couple of beers," and I know I don't have to go anywhere and it's not too crowded, and I feel comfortable, I'll have a beer or two. But I didn't want to take the train all the way into Manhattan, go to a crowded place, drink at a bar, and then come all the way home. And then especially with this added dizziness, like, people must have thought I was drunk because I must have bumped into everybody. So what I mean? So I didn't drink. Oh, and we also went to a French restaurant, Chez Josephine. It was near Midtown, so it was a little expensive. But man, I'm not joking. I got the filet mignon au pois with pommes frites, which is a fancy way of saying, peppered filet mignon with French fries. It was $52. But I guess that's the going rate for a steak at a steakhouse or whatever. But I'm not joking. It was the best. I'm gonna say best goddamn steak I've ever had. Oh my god, it was so good, mouth watering. Oh my god, and it was funny because I got whenever you get a steak, you're always disappointed. I don't know about you guys, but when you're a damn slob like me, I'm always disappointed. Like, this is it. And then I was struggling to finish it. I was like giving fries away. It was so freaking good. So $30 the going rate and crowd up to extra large. Yeah, I put in the order for 2 mediums, 2 large, 2 extra large. You know, so I hope one of them fits me, and then one of probably the extra large. No, I think I put in large, extra large, and double extra large. I think, and give it time to shrink. But the thing I want to know is, how do people feel about polyester? And now I got to look. Now I got to look to see if the place near me makes cotton, because I think cotton would sell better. It went well. I drew Frankenstein, which I posted on X. Oh, cool. Tag me in it so I can see it. I didn't get really a chance to hang out on the internet last night, and then when I came home, there was a dead cat in the road. Oh, and I got so upset. I was like, oh man, is this the cat that I told you guys that there's the dead cat in the road was like not in front of my house, but the house in front of my house. So I'm like, oh my, and it was the same color as the stray that basically lives on our porch. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go tell my wife that we named it Smeagol. I go, poor Smeagol. So I got out of the car and I was like hemming and hawing. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, there's a dead cat. So we went and got a flashlight. And as I got the flashlight, we see Smeagol we disturbed his sleep. He was just sleeping. We have a little cat house in front behind the bushes, so that you can't see. He's just sticking his head out like, oh, good. Poor little critter in the road. But I can't save the world. It was great Frankenstein. Oh, it was a great Frankenstein, Duck Bacon says. So this is all the nonsense that's going on in my life. Hale, I hope you have a blessed day. You too, Zach Tan. Zach. Also, drinking at home is way cheaper. Yeah. Oh, man. I will say this. Vaughn Coleman is a skinny little thing. That kid could drink. That kid could eat. Oh, my God. He put away a couple of cocktails, a couple of beers, and we were still walking. He was talking and wasn't slurring. I think when we left, he was going to get some food again with his buddy, and I feel really bad. His buddy's an excellent artist, man. I tell you, Mark Brooks, it was funny because we were talking to Mark Brooks. I think he's just a cover artist for Marvel. Whether you like his art or whatever, it's not really relevant. I'm not particularly fond of C.B. Sapolsky, but I'm not going to go start trouble with people, at an event. And Mark was pleasant, and it was funny. He's just like, I don't care what your politics are, blah 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 blah. I don't even like to bring up politics. And then he starts going on a Trump tirade. I'm like, dude, you're the one bringing up politics. And he was like, you're right. So a little bit of TDS, but at least well enough to realize this was inappropriate at the venue. What's that? Batch slapping our boy? Who's that? We'll get to the comic in a bit. Hey, Dave Brink is here. How you doing, Dave? I love. Oh, Marcus is on the ball. Perfect 10, book 5, and Power Trip. There you go. That's Dave Brink. Dave, I am so nervous and excited for you to read my book. Because Dave is somebody I absolutely 100% respect. Dave's got the right attitude. Dave is genuine comics. He's got the right attitude. He's got the right love of comics. He makes the best comics. It's top perfect. My comic will have the top 10, so I keep saying top 10. Perfect 10 is the best comic coming out. Best superhero comic coming out that I read. So there you go. Next to mine. But it's not appropriate to say that yours is best. Yeah, Dead Animals is sad. Yeah. Rest in peace, cat. I think it was a cat. It was all smushed. It could be a possum because it was like tannish brown, and that's the color of Smeagol. Thank you, more. Good morning. Pity Mom. Did I get to meet Reedy? No, we kept that. Yeah, we kept. She went to a Comics Beat party The night before, she went to Global Comics, and we went to Global. So I went Thursday night. Friday night, I didn't go. I had my it's clobbering time and things like that. So I went Thursday night, met with Vaughn. We went to a noodle place. Oh, it was so good. I felt a little bad because I kind of like bullied the group, but it was me, Vaughn, and Chris Williams. We met in the lobby. We met Aaron Sparrow, and we were talking, and that was great. And then we went to go get dinner, and Vaughn was starving. You know, so Vaughn was there at setup, working all day long, so he was like ravenous. He's like, I don't care where we go, let's eat. So I was like, there's a taco place. Line. And it's funny because you're in Manhattan, everybody's dressed as Deadpool and everybody's in costume and everything like that. And it was just, you couldn't even get in the place. So we kept on walking. And then I was like, guys, let's eat here. It was just a noodle place because where I live out here in Suffolk County, you could get everything. It's New York. You could get Mexican or everything. But I grew, for the last 15 years, I was in Flushing. I had access to, if you know anything about Flushing, it's famous for its Chinese food. You know, it's the home of the soup dumpling. So I was just like, every time I come to Manhattan, I want to get, you know, Chinese food because I can't get it as good out here. So we just had it some random place. I think it was Kung Fu Noodles or something like that. I got to look it up. We ordered soup dumplings, and the soup dumplings were just as good as my favorite place, which is Joe Shanghai's, and it was awesome. And Vaughn ate a order of soup dumplings, a big old bowl of hand chopped noodles and broth. The broth was so good. If the broth is good, that's what makes the soup, as far as I'm concerned. And he ate it. Oh man, he ate it all. Got a couple of beers. He, you know, it's guy could eat and drink. God bless him. He's as skinny as a pencil. And it was a lot of fun. So then Friday, and then we missed Rini into the story. And then Friday, same thing. Rini usually like, here's my phone number. You know, let's coordinate. And we just kept missing each other. So, but Rini, man, she sold out. She sold out of all of her books. She had to call RJ from Critical Blast, and he had to overnight Federal Express another shipment of books to her. Man, and you know, kudos to her, man. She's doing great. Hope to visit a comic convention in the US. Would love to meet you guys. Yeah, I'd love to hang out with Dave. Dave, anytime. I have to hop on the train. Takes me about an hour and a half to get to Manhattan. So, like, you know, I know people don't know with geography, but like I offered Vaughn to I was like, hey, come crash, but it's better for him to go home to Jersey than to my place. I met her. She's awesome and sweet. Oh, you met her? Oh, Pity Ma. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. It would have been nice to meet you too. Oh, I didn't realize. Are you in town just for the convention, or do you live? Because like I said, I just wasn't sure how I would deal with crowds. But I think next year for sure I will be getting tickets to Comic-Con. She was killing it at Comic-Con. Yeah, good for her too. Hate those guys that can eat and drink anything and not get fat. Yeah. Vaughn is eating voracious machine. All right, so is there any other comic book business that I need to bring up? Just let me know. Like, is polyester shirt a deal breaker? You know, look, just let me know. I mean, it's like half the price of all the other places, but all the other places couldn't do the full sublimation. So, you know, whatever. It'll catch. Yeah, that's what I said. Enjoy it now. You know, wait till you hit 30, 35, you know, and then you're going to get the dad bod. So, okay. So where were we? Any other, I sent out a few PDFs of Heroic Tales #1 to a few people just because I'm so nervous, you know? So if I think unless you worked on the book, not counting the people that worked on the book, I think 7 people have read Heroic Tales. And I don't mean to be like so tight, but you know, once you send out the PDFs, it you know, I mean, I sent them out to people that I trust. So I'm really thinking I might start sending out the PDFs this week and get that over with, so that next week or the week after, I'm getting the proofs, I think, tomorrow. I keep thinking I'm getting the proofs, and then I find out that it's a package for my wife or whatever. Today I'm getting 2 packages, but I don't think I'm getting the proofs today. But once you get the proofs, you just scan it and hit a code, and they start working on it right away. So I think it's like a week after the proofs you get the comics. So I don't know. I said I wanted to wait until I put a comic in the mail, but I think if I get the proofs, that's what I think I'm going to do. If I get the proofs and the proofs are good and there's no problem, I think I'm going to just start sending out all the PDFs, get that over with. So when the comics are here, because I'm thinking if I start mailing out, now I'm mailing out and doing email, you know what I mean? So maybe if I see that the proofs are good, that I know that that it's not a long wait for everybody to get their physical books. Maybe that's what I'll do. So if you signed up for PDFs, you'll be getting them. Unless I get the physical proofs and they're totally messed up, you'll be getting the PDFs probably this week. And I was gonna say go easy on me, but don't go easy on me. Let me know. I know Marcus is one of the people that read it. Torchbearer is one of the people that read it. So there you go. Well, I might wish to have a similar. I did have a good for having good genetics. Yeah, I know. You might as well. I never had a problem with the hardcover kit Carter, but send out the soft covers. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure Marcus has no reason to be nervous. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is one of the people that read. Marcus has been my moderator and so helpful. Like the least I could do is send him an early copy of the comic. But I will say, like I said, I think I think 8 people besides the people that worked on the book and my wife have read the comic, and everybody's saying it's really good, but I don't know how to take, like, are you being nice? You know what I mean? Like when you're an Irish Italian Catholic from a large family, whenever anybody's complimenting you, you're like, what do you want? So people like so you see, I don't. I know Steve, but we only met a couple of weeks ago. We were talking. He's one of the people that read it, and if I may, he raved about it. You know what I mean? But I don't. So I trust him. Because Brian Bow also read it, but he's one of the people that helped worked on the comic. You know what I mean? So, but I know Brian is ruthless with his criticism, and and Brian and Steve and Brian are friends. So I'm ready and waiting to read your book. Thank you. With the blue wrench comes great responsibility. Yes. And Marcus has gone above and beyond. Sorry, let's talk about this. So Marcus requested Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7. I don't have it. I read it. I don't have it. I don't know if it's one of those comics because that disappeared, or if I read it at a friend's house and I thought I had it, but I don't have it. So that'll be in a back issue bonanza one of these upcoming days. But I didn't get up to. I've been cataloging my comics. I will be getting back to doing that. I just didn't want to lift up boxes and stuff like that. But if I'm okay to go back to work, I'm okay to lift comic book boxes. I still wonder if my doctor understands what I do for a living. These people that sit in offices and stuff like that. So I will get back to catalog. And then when I get up to the box, I write down comics that I'm missing. So I'm missing Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7. So as I was looking for it, this comic popped up, and I've always loved this cover. And it's funny, I probably haven't looked at this cover in 25 years, other than like maybe in glancing one. And it's John Byrne, Terry Austin. Go figure, right? Go figure. John Byrne, Terry Austin. So this is Marvel 2-in-1. This is this camera is driving me crazy because you can see it's always it's never square because I broke it, and then glued it. So this is a Marvel 2-in-1. The Thing battles Thundra. So this is Thundra. Who is Thundra? Well, Thundra is she's from an alternate future. So yes, multiverses were always a part of Marvel and comics and DC. Um, they weren't always as prevalent. They were always part of comics, but like used sparingly. So Marvel always has these alternate futures, and some of them are, are probable, some of them are improbable, whatever. So as far as I can remember, I think she debuted in Marvel's Epic. There was Epic magazine, and Epic magazine was like, Marvel's like magazine that went on the shelf with Savage Sword of Conan and stuff like that. And it was Stan Lee, John Buscema, and they were the Femizons. So it was a alternate future where like these women were ultra powerful and matriarchal society, and then the men were like ape like, and every once in a while they would have like a political summit for breeding purposes, and if the Femizons had men, they would give them to the if they had male babies, they would give them to the barbarian men, and if they had female babies, they would keep them and raise them as Femizons. Well, if memory served correctly, it's also the same future that leads to Killraven. I don't know. Sometimes they change things. But one of the things I do remember, I think it was Epic Comics #1 was the first. I'm probably misremembering. No. It was Savage Tales. It was the original Savage Tales, I think, because it was before Epic Comics. Because this comic is before that. But I just remember it was like boobies. It was, John Buscema drawing boobies, and that shocked me. But anyway, she always has a thing for the Thing, and she's always chasing after the Thing, and the Thing is always running away. So, is that the one with Valkyrie? That's Thundra. That's a crazy position for the Thing for Burn. Yeah, it is. So he's getting hit, and he's flying right at you through the wall. That doesn't look like Byrne, but I could see him in that Thunder character. Yeah, I got to agree. That's why in my memory I didn't remember it as John Byrne. Does Ben have a normal diet, or does he eat poop and rock like those things from the Neverending Story? He exists solely on a diet of cigars. That's the only thing from Femizonia. Yeah, an alternate. So let's open up and check it out. So this is 1979 Marvel 2-in-1. Marvel 2-in-1, for those of you who don't know, was a phenomenal series. Every issue, it was a team up. So every issue, Ben Grimm met up with somebody else. And this is the Project Pegasus. So there was like a 10-issue storyline where Ben was hired to be like a security guard for Project Pegasus. And Project Pegasus was like a SHIELD sponsored government program designed for alternate energy. And so they went like everywhere from like anything but solar, like, the extra dimensional energy sources and stuff like that, and of course every week, I if memory serves, like it really ended up being like a way to study superpowers. So look at these Battlestar Galactica figures. I had these. Like I said, Battlestar Galactica was my show. It wasn't. It was popular enough, but it was. In '79, it was a direct competition with Star Wars, So it debuted after Star Wars, before Empire Strikes Back, and it was Hollywood. If something's popular, copy it. So it was a TV show, space opera, and I loved it. I'm that kid, like, I don't want to join your club. So like, what? I mean, as much as I love Star Wars, I was like, Battlestar Galactica's mine. And I didn't play it at school. I didn't talk about it much. It was just like I watched it every week. I read the comics, which was one of the only sci-fi comics that I collected. But anyway, that's besides the point. So this is the Deadlier of the Species. And this is Mark Gruenwald, Macho authors, Perez and Day artists, Watanabe letterer, Sharon colorer, Stern editor, Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. So how about that, for all your goodness. So we got John Byrne, Terry Austin on the cover, and George Perez and Day. What is Day's first name? Why? I know Marcus knows. I can't think of what his name is. So so we got all the femizons just scoping out Project Pegasus. What does it say? Bathed in the bright moonlight, a raiding party unlike any other is assembled, prepares to invade the upstate New York energy complex called Project Pegasus via an emergency exit from the facility's underground nuclear research module placed far along the project's outer perimeter. So it sets us up. What's going on? Why are they here? So they're raiding a nuclear vent for Project Pegasus, which is in upstate New York. Everything is settled right there. Now check out this interesting coloring. We got the moon over here that looks like a foreign planet. Like I don't know why I'm thinking of like John Carter, Warlord of Mars, but that. So I'm thinking that George Perez, who's normally super detailed, this Day, whoever Day is, he did a lot of inking. George Perez probably just did like rough pencils, and because I'm seeing a lot of like George probably just did layouts or whatever, and Dave did a lot of work on this. But look at the coloring. They're all blue. It's you could almost see how it's like 3D. We got the blue here in the foreground, this darker gray, green, and then brown. Like the colors. And we were talking about this at dinner last night, and I was saying we were talking about Cyberfrog, and I said, say what you want about EVS, whatever problems you have. The guy's a great, phenomenal artist, great comic book artist. And then I said, my problem with I'm talking about the comic book of Cyberfrog, is I said that the coloring is too much. I said every little thing gets a color to the point where it almost becomes a stained glass. Like this, when everything is distinctly covered, it's colored its own color, it becomes like a miasma of colors, and it's hard to distinguish like the 3D nature. With Ethan's super detailed drawing, I think like coloring like this would serve it a little better than the super meticulous detailed coloring that why can't I think of his name? I can't think of his name, the colorist for Cyberfrog, but seems like a good guy, talented colorist, could draw on his own right. But I feel like the Emperor in Amadeus, too many notes, like there's too many colors, and it's hard to set up like a depth. Everything becomes Kyle Ritter. Thank you. I knew Marcus. Seems like a good fellow, keeps to himself. Yeah, I'm just talking about. It seems like indie comics just filled with drama. Maybe there is drama. Maybe I don't know. But you know what I mean. Like, just tone it down a bit. So here we got these women are. Yes. If everything is in equal detailed, I grant it's hard to focus. Good point. Good point. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, if everything is equally detailed, I grant it's hard to focus. Yes. And I mean, Kyle Ritter, if he was to color, I'd say Renzo Rodriguez, I think it would look spectacular. But Ethan spends there's just so many lines, and then he puts like everything is super detailed, and then each detail gets its own color to draw your eye. Like it's almost like EVS is a good artist, but he needs a handle when he's not giving back. He goes wild with the detail, loses perspective on the page, and it muffles. I think that's a pretty valid critique. I got to say that there's sometimes in Cyberfrog that I'm like, sometimes I'm looking at a panel because I'm like, oh, there's just so much cool stuff to look at. Sometimes I'm looking at Cyberfrog, I'm like, I need to understand like where it is in space-time continuum. Yeah, Ritter is a deaf mute. Yeah. Yep. EBS indie work is really exposed how important writers and editors are. Yes. I will go out on a limb, and I'm putting myself on this limb too. So, maybe but I think the writing of Comicsgate indie comics is the weakness. Of course, there's exceptions. Graham Nolan can do it all, and has done it all, and continues to do it all. So if you're a fan of good quality comics, get his monster series from the Shinu to Monster Island, top notch. Aaron Lopresti, Wraith of God, phenomenal. I can't wait for Kit Carter, phenomenal. Well, I'm assuming it will be phenomenal based on Aaron Lopresti's past work. Dave Brink, Genuine Comics, well written, excellently drawn. So feel free to rake me over the coals for the writing. I mean, I know nobody. I will say this 100%. The for my comic, the art, the coloring, the lettering is unassailable. If anybody says otherwise, you just don't like comics. I think the writing is the only thing that's critical, but I'm the writer, so but maybe I'm protective of those guys, but I do believe it, But yeah, we need some editors, and I found one mistake just recently. So if anybody can find this, there's probably more. I just found one. I found one mistake. If you could find the mistake, you get a no prize. It seems like this corner of indie comics favor detail. Yeah, well, they got the time. Marvel is making a comic every month. That was always one of the problems that John Buscema wanted to do more and more detailed work. So they can and they should. If you're going to spend 9 months to 5 years between comics, make it as detailed and as possible. Too many colors on a page makes it look like a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Yes, that's a less elegant way of explaining my problem with a lot of Kyle Ritter's colors. I think he needs to pull back, and I've said that a few times. Little less of this, I agree with you, Zach. Dan, I lose my focus so much to observe it much. Yes. Day's first name is Gene. Gene Day. I knew that. I'm calling brain damage. Graham, Aaron, Andy, and Irene are artists who could draw and write very well. Yes. Oh yeah. How can I not say Fiendish? Fiendish I avoided because the title bothered me. The title is an adjective, or an adverb. You know what I mean? That breaks the rules for me, so I avoided it. But I kept seeing the art. And then I got the book, and I was like, "This is phenomenal." Then I reached out to Irene and asked her to come on my channel, and that's when I realized she is just the greatest person. So I actively avoided the comic. Heck yeah, I agree. I was referring to fans as well. Okay. Oh, he's talking about the writers. Okay, I don't mind detail work, but if it doesn't flow from panel to panel, page to page, you don't have a comic anymore. Absolutely, Eric the Guapo, Mr. Handsome. Absolutely. I think the Image Comics is the we were talking about this, and you should see it in everybody's face when I said my hill to stand on is that Rob Liefeld and Image Comics in general is overall a negative influence on comics. I said they reduced the quality of comics and they made it okay to for unprofessional behavior and bad storytelling. And the whole table is just like, what? Everybody at that table. One of the guys worships at the feet of Rob Liefeld, and the other guy was a Tom McFarlane guy. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I'm sorry. Image Comics. And then they all were like, yeah, well, I'm mostly into the art and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, read Prophet and Rob Liefeld's Prophet. It's unreadable. It's terrible. And that's the problem. Is I will say, one of the biggest problems in comic books is the storytelling. And what I mean is, does this panel flow to this panel? George Perez, John Byrne, Jack Kirby, Marvel Comics, John Buscema, Rob, all these guys, their storytelling was impeccable. And of course we would talk about Rob Liefeld and Jack Kirby, like Butchered Anatomy and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, but the problem with the thing about Jack Kirby was he was awesome storyteller. From actually writing a comic to the art itself telling a story. Rob Liefeld's still not good at storytelling, and I said, and it became acceptable. It's the acceptable medium. I mean, for 10 years, Image Comics were unreadable and they still sold like gangbusters. We conditioned the comic book audience to accept inferior writing and inferior storytelling, and lowered the standards. I mean, the fact that everybody left Marvel for good or valid reasons, Image Comics, the Image boom, lowered the quality of comic books. That's my hill to stand on, and I'll get back to the comic. At least indie writing is not actively bad. It may take a while. Yeah. Heading to church, try to catch up later. Okay, I agree. Image is a bug, not a feature. Sequential storytelling doesn't need hyper detailed art. It needs exaggerate action, body poses, facial expressions that flow from panel to panel, and Graham is an absolute master at that. Absolutely. 100%. I love Graham's style, his panel layouts, and his masterful use of splash paint. Absolutely. Graham is the gold standard for crowdfunded comics. I agree with you 100% on story professional, but I still love. That's fine. And that's what I said too. If you like it, you like it. It's like this whole, you can't have pineapple on pizza. If you like it, you'll like it. But even the guys that were defending Liefeld had to admit that his comics were unreadable. We were talking about Cable, and I was like, Cable is, first off, a horrible character. Second off, he shows up. Okay, New Mutants. The whole premise of New Mutants is they're kids. They're the freshman students at Xavier's school. And then you get a 60-year-old man shows up and the comic book is about him. He breaks the whole premise of the comic. I could see him. Okay, he shows up in New Mutants, but he should have been ushered out the door and given his own title. He should, what I forget what issue he shows up, 86 or something like that. So, and then some people could say, granted, yeah, he saved the comic. To let New Mutants fail. You know what I mean? You can't have a Spider-Man comic and then the Punisher shows up and then the Punisher is the star of Spider-Man. Make the Punisher the star of the Punisher, if you know what I'm talking about. But they're the New Mutants. Cable shows up, he's an old man, he has nothing to do with the school, and then everybody's just like, he's like Ray from Star Wars. He's like, what do you want me to do, Ray? I'll stay in here and assist you, Ray. The comic became him. It became like a black hole, and all the objects were warped around his gravity. But anyway, I digress. So from going forward, I'm gonna address this. Then I'll go to the chat because I'm ranting and raving. So all the girls are attacking, and they're breaking in. So here she is. Thundra fought Titana, the original Titana. This is before Crisis on Infinite Earth. And what's the name? I forget that, but there's a name of these girls. So this was actually like a superpowered female wrestling league. So she got defeated by the original Titana, and then woke up in the hospital, and now they're like, when I was to be accompanied by 4 female wrestlers. So I forget the name of the group, but there's 4 female wrestlers. So we got Titana, Screaming Mimi, who later became Songbird, Pound Cakes. Oh my God, how cool is Pound Cakes? Pound Cakes. And Letha. Yes, and this is Marvel goofing on Jack Kirby's female Furies. They go back and forth. Sometimes Marvel copies DC, sometimes DC copies Marvel. So here we got, but Pound Cakes. Is there a better name than Pound Cakes? So now they're taking the assignment, and the high-tech shuttles, going around. And here we got Roman soldiers. Did I skip a page? No, I did not. We got Johnson Smith Company. It's like this. You don't see anymore. How cool. How cool. Oh, I'll leave it at this, and I'll adjust the chat. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on story professionalism, but I still, that's fine. That's an unassailable comment. You like what you like, what you like. You know, it's like saying that girl's not hot. You know, if you like her, you like her. The quality has really gone down. Yes, Image was all surface, no substance. Yeah, that's why Image to me was the perfect name. It was all flash. It was all flash, with a few exceptions. You know, I liked Pit, and I liked Gen 13, but New Mutants was selling, and Rob was test up the sales. They did, yeah, yeah, I know, yeah, I know. New Mutants wasn't selling, and then it became X Force. I know. I just, I don't know. Hey guys, Marvel. I mean, can you blame him? I guess I don't blame him. Oh, I might be trouble. I draw with excessive detail, but no. There's nothing wrong with excessive detail. That's not what we're talking about. No, we're not at all. We're not talking with excessive detail. We're talking about the coloring just causing everything to look flat. You know, that's my problem with Cyberfrogs. I do like it. You know, I had problems with Ethan, but I'm not gonna all of a sudden be a sour grapes. I like the comic. Cyberfrog is a good comic. I think it works better in the 90s when it was tongue in cheek. You know, it was hyper violent and then a little silly at times, because let's face it, these are childish names: Salamandroid, Cyberfrog, Traumadeus. You know, these are all goofy names, so I think it works better as a goofier comic. I really like 90s Cyberfrog, still do. The modern Cyberfrog is more morose. It's The Walking Dead with children's goofy character names inserted in, and you know, it's messing with its own tone. Graham is great. The only issue is he roots for the Buffalo Bills. Well, not being a sport guy, I don't know what the problem is. The original Mutants graphic novel was really good. Yeah, the Grapplers, yes, the Grapplers. That's the name of the group, the Grapplers. Okay, so now classic George Perez over here, machine hyping machine. Like, it's just totally clear that it's all machines, but what's not totally clear is what purpose do they serve. You know, and the more I work, you know, it you know, I am in like buildings and subways and stuff, so I spend a lot of time in like the infrastructure of buildings, and so I see a lot of these mechanical rooms and you know, so this is a guy who never went to a mechanical room, drawing mechanical rooms, you know, like the compressors and stuff like that of these buildings. You'd be amazed if you go into like these building skyscrapers in Manhattan. You about 40% of each skyscraper is stuff that's inaccessible, like, unless you're a maintenance guy. And you know, they don't dress them up, they don't make them look pretty. You know, they're utilitarian, and you know, they're so impressive, but they don't look like this. Just tubes to nowhere. You know, once you don't care about like you know, how it looks, you know, there's a logic to them. So now they're jumping out and they're attacking the poor men, poor construction guys who never, you know, this guy's worried, do I have enough money to get my kids braces? This guy over here is just like, oh man, you know, spent so much overtime over here that, you know, my kid, I would really like to coach Little League. And then the grapplers come out and beat the crap out of all, you know, and now they're just infiltrating. Let's go, grapplers. Yep, there it is, the grapplers. Sisters, wait. We were to exit quietly with no disturbance. So it's kind of funny because Thundra is known as a fiery redhead, and here she is trying to, in a position of leadership, trying to keep the grapplers, you know, as much as the Femizons, you know, they have disdain for men and stuff. Thundra, her time here is just like, chill, you know, we're not here to destroy everything. So now we got poor Ben Grimm. Ben Grimm hurt his arm. He's got his arm in a sling. And what do they do with this guy on a slab here? This is Wonder. I always hated when they had two R's at the end of a name. Wondar. You got to pronounce the other R, otherwise don't write it. And Wondar becomes Aquarian later on, and he's like the ultimate pacifist. He doesn't like to fight, and he emits an aura that basically turns off all energy, except for the light because plot. But all energy is turned off around him. Of course, gravity works, but his gravity energy, that's for the philosophers to decide. So like superpowers don't work. He can concentrate and extend the field, but he's kind of like mindless. So last issue, they fought Nuclo, who's there to study his nuclear generation powers. Bill Foster is Giant Man. He's one of the scientists. Ben, I understand. So Ben was talking to Wondar because he's been portrayed like as a dummy, and now he's starting to get his memory back. And we'll check out this dreamy little heavy duty Mr. Universe Menzer. The original New Mutants graphic. Oh, okay. Where were we? The graphics. Yes, Marvel 2-in-1 had that long run connected to Project Pegasus. Yep. Even with all the detail, I think Perez they really have a strong balance with the storytelling. Yes. That's one of the things about Marvel Comics is, and they were professionals, especially during the Jim Shooter years. To me, this is when they were firing on all cylinders. And it's funny because when I was at the Marvel party, I was talking about, Marvel under Jim Shooter. You could just see I was probably talking about, I worship the devil. He was professional. He kept the comics coming out. He kept the comic profitable and stuff. So here I am talking about how much I love the Jim Shooter comics, and and they're all like blessing themselves. But he made us work. He made us keep to a deadline and a schedule. If you listen to Rob, he was pretty combative for an 18-year-old as well. Yeah. My problem with Rob Liefeld is he got too popular too quick. And if I was 19 years old and making $100,000 a month, I would be combative. Nobody would tell me what to do because you're 18 years old. It's going to last forever. You have infinite money. Everybody's kissing your butt. And I'd be spending all my money on hookers and blow, and there would never be any comics, which is kind of what happened. And, he should have spent, in a perfect world, he would have grinded and worked on lesser titles for a couple of years, and then around like 28, when he was a full-on mature adult, he would have, and he would be phenomenal, and he would be phenomenal. Instead, he's always. I still don't like his comics. Still don't like his art. I always just liked all the line clutter of the 90s. A lot of the time, I couldn't. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I keep repeating. Comic book costume, superhero costume, simple, elegant, the least amount of lines as possible. Rob Liefeld's Jim Lee. I know Jim Lee just why is that line there? Why is this line on this suit? Why does Batman have like circuitry panel? It doesn't even look good, but what do I know? Agreed, Marcus, he should be a Raiders fan like a true American. He's trying to refer to function versus design, and with one or the other can go. Thank you. Nick is a legit Artemis. He's a legit Artemis. He's a legit artist. He's the artist on Crom the Destroyer, and I think he's articulating what my amateur brain is trying to explain. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Nick. I was able to glimpse a little of the old New York and the skyscrapers. Used to do asbestos abatement in the city. Classic Art Deco vaults. Yeah, I love that stuff, especially when you go down to the Wall Street area, like the older parts of Manhattan. They say in Manhattan, if you walk around looking up at the buildings, you're a fool, but you're a fool if you don't walk around and look at the buildings. Some gorgeous. I used to love. I love working in the older because you see some really cool buildings. We got Crom the Destroyer. Again, it's still available. That Nick is the artist on it. Of course, some great panels I've been seeing. Wonder in his no field, so wouldn't Wonder be both deaf and blind as his powers cancel all it? Don't get too logical. Shouldn't he be floating? Turning off gravity. Shouldn't he be starving because his body can't break down nutrients into energy? That's like people who argue the Invisible Woman should be blind. No, she shouldn't. She shouldn't be blind. You know, the Human Torch should be burned to death. So Wonder would need extrasensory perception to heat. Yeah, yeah. Also, how do all the sounds he say escape his field? Heroic Tales. All the answers are in Heroic Tales #1. Okay, I'm all caught up. So I will go to the next page. This always bothered me. It's obviously Thor. So now Ben turns the corner and he sees Thundra. Grim is here. Why wasn't I warned? Please, Ben. I could say nothing, at least at this time. Let me leave quickly. I have no desire to harm you. So Ben's like, what are you doing here? Don't make me strike you. Boom. Look at that. Look at the awkward pose. Look at this radiating amoeba of energy. And it's all awesome. It's all awesome. Now, just look at what I'm talking about, storytelling. I'm not reading the words. Just look at the acting in Ben's face. You know, I love the one leg over here, the slight askew worm's eye view. Just so cool. That slightly above, you know, and then over here, this weird, just every panel is different. Every panel has a main central color. You know, that's another thing that like you read Cyberfrog, there's so many colors in each panel that sometimes you don't know which panel is which. You know what I mean? Like, you know, tone it down. And boom. And then look at Ben over here. Just laying in what a remote development. Here I am with a busted arm. All right, you great big bundle of laughs. You went and got Benji all riled up for nothing. It's clobbering time. I love that. I love Ben. How can you not love Ben? And here we got, meanwhile, well beyond earshot of Ben's battle cry, Dr. William Foster and Dr. Wendell Vaughn, better known as Giant Man and Quasar, hurry through the cleanup operations necessitated by the recent battle with Nuclo. I forgot, Wendell Vaughn is a scientist? I forgot Quasar was a scientist. I remember he was like a junior SHIELD agent, but he was a scientist. I guess everybody's a scientist. But look at this. You know, this is like the closest to like an Image costume that Marvel has, but like not a lot. And I love the Buccaneer gloves, the Buccaneer boots. So cool. So cool. You know, Quasar, just look at this pose, the energy, just everything. You know, how are they standing? It's weird, right? It's like the line floor goes like this. It looks like they should be sliding down, but yet it works. You know, I just love everything about this. This face is a little weird, you know, and the alarm goes off and they're running around. So before I turn the page, let's check it. That's a beautiful face and panel too, right here. Yeah. I agree. Thunder always liked Ben. If you wanted to stop her, all he needs to do is ask her if she wants to wrestle. You want to wrestle? Right? Ben wouldn't ask you to wrestle. He would ask you to wrestle. Junior SHIELD agent lab tech. Okay. I can't retain all the information. Fun Stripe. Anybody remember Fruit Stripe gum? You're like, oh, Fruit Stripe gum. You open it up. Oh, it's dead. But it was like a good nanosecond of flavor. I like that Giant Man costume. Yeah, I agree. You know, Bill Foster, for those of you who don't know, what's his name played him? Why can't I think of his name? But he was in the first Ant-Man movie for like 8 seconds, but he never really used his power. Bill Foster. Why can't I think of the actor's name? Larry Fishburne. Now Larry Fishburne is it's closer to playing the Mole Man or the Blob than Giant Man. But look at this. Just this blue cape, red. It's the inverted Superman, right? You know, Superman's got the red cape and the blue. He's got the blue. Do you guys think Quasar would be like the next big Marvel thing? Like, is it possible? You know, we still got some cool We still got some cool Marvel characters left. Okay, I gotta. How about that cape on Quasar? Cape. I was gonna talk about Quasar, but I started to feel like a know-it-all, so I wanted to stop. But what Marcus is talking about is Hojo, who does the Mythicals comic, posted on Twitter that only 4 characters need capes: Superman, Doctor Doom, Spawn, and Batman. Yeah, everybody else with cape, other than why is it cool? Why do they have the capes? And I said capes denote authority. When you're donning a cape, you're assuming authority. Superman is the authority on all superheroes. He's the father figure of all superheroes. Now, this isn't something the characters said. This is like something subconscious. It's like subconscious to the creator of the character and subconscious to the subconscious of the character. Like a cape, you're donning a mantle. You're donning authority. Doctor Doom is, I'm the ruler of the world. I'm the rightful ruler of the world, and that's why he wears the green to signify like military dictatorship. Doctor Strange wears a cape. He's the master of the mystic arts. And then later on, the sorcerer supreme. Superman, Batman is the authority of over the realms of the night. And what is Quasar? I think Quasar is more, he's wearing this cape as a signification of an adherence to an ideal. Like, really, Wendell Vaughn is a good guy. He's a good superhero. Like, he is like a classic blue sky superhero. And I think the cape is like an acknowledgement of like, I'm living up to like the ideal of Superman. Same with Justice from, or Marvel Boy, whatever you want to call him, from the New Warriors. Like, he has no authority. He's not the boss. He's not, he's not the ruler. But what it is it's almost like a pledge of allegiance to the superhero creed. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Right, but I don't want, if I look at the chat, I'll get distracted. So he stumbles upon Screaming Mimi and Letha. I always love this panel. So she's, you can see her fist over here, but like, is she holding on to something and then kicks him? Is it just a wrestling kick? And what great storytelling! What great storytelling! You follow along the story. Look, poor Wendell over here was taken by surprise. He didn't get to, erect all of his defenses and so he's just winded and then literally tossed head over heels. Boom. And I love this. He's just laying down on the ground, and you got these 2 distinct legs. Anything else you'd like to tell if you join? Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. And then boom, Wendell's a hero. If anybody remembers that comic where he was just constantly being whipped and he wouldn't give up the information, just pretty graphic. He's all bloody and beaten and sweaty, and he just won't give up the information. That literally being tortured. How many other superheroes like who withstand torture like that? I think that was Malmstrom. That was a great comic, and I love the lighting. Now again, poor old Kyle. I like Kyle. He's, I don't know, he's a deaf mute, so maybe I'm being condescending, but I want to protect him. But like, he would color every little aspect, and then this would just be too much. Look at the sparse coloring over here. But it works. You got the darkness, the light is coming from here, so there's shade on his face, and boom, energy. And these girls are like, whoa, because they don't know what Quasar could do. They don't know what Quasar could do. They don't realize that they done messed up a Ron. And I realize I got friends coming over at 12, so I got to start cleaning up the basement, and because last night I just went out. We're gonna play some board games, get some lunch, so I'm gonna pick up the pace. So that I love this. So she's, as they're talking, she starts to cover her ears. She goes, yes, scream. So he's talking, she covers her ears, and Screaming Mimi, what does Screaming Mimi do? She screams. And look at Wendell. And now, it causes him to like freak out. And what does it do? It messes with his equilibrium, and he starts to hallucinate. just look at John Byrne. Look at George Perez just like having fun with anatomy. So we got what's really happening over here, and then Wendell Vaughn's perceptions in the middle. So good. So good. Keep them away. I don't want to kill them. Please keep them away. So like that, he's hallucinating horrific monsters, and it's implied that not only is Screaming Mimi messing with his perceptions, it's messing with his emotions, and he's freaking out. And I just love like this muscular gesture, and he just quantum band, boom, and he just puts him in a cage. But that cage ain't gonna stop. He's not thinking properly, so he cages them. But that doesn't stop Screaming Mimi from screaming, because the sound waves can go through. So he's like, okay, these demons are gonna get me. I mustn't fail, never, never. And then look at that panel. That is pure George Perez. That is just awesome. And he just overwhelms them. I just love this. This is just such classic superheroes. Oh my God, this panel right here. I gotta take a picture of this and just put up this panel on Twitter and talk about it. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now because it's such a good panel. I want to talk about this. So here we go. There we go. And then he just overcomes them and beats both these women. Yeah. How about that cape on Quasar? Fruit stripe gum. The best part was the zebra mascot. The gum itself sucked. No, I will say that for 3/4 of a second, it was so good. And then it was like, I got resin in my mouth. Stand like primary colors in here and secondary colors on villains. Yeah, color theory and superheroes. That's a good video topic. Doubtful as they claim the Bengals Miss Marvel is wearing our quantum band. Oh yeah, in the movies. Yeah, the movies. Doubtful as they okay. When I was young, Quasar was D-list. Him and D. Yeah, I wouldn't put poor Quasar on D. Not the same list as Darkhawk. Magicians like Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate need capes. Spectre doesn't need a cape, but he wants one, and no one tells Spectre. Well, he's declaring his authority over. He has authority from the supreme being, from God. That's super cool about cape color. I never knew that. Great kick. Perez is so good. To be fair, yes, he colors a lot. He colors other artists different than EVS. Oh, okay. All right. Also, is much better printing and paper being used. Okay, so yeah, you're right. You're right. I have Starblades. I haven't read it yet. I want to check out the coloring on that. And this comic was colored by using Dr. Martin dyes and putting codes on for old ladies at the print. Yeah, you can see. I was going to bring that up, but you can see right here color codes. So now we got the gum fighting practice and techniques. Again, every time this comes up, I just get irrationally angry. I don't know why. This stupid ad drives me so nuts. Kurt Busiek. So Kurt Busiek used to live at 303 Stadium Place, Syracuse, New York. Kurt Busiek doxed himself in an old comic. Kent Orlando, Steve Allen Benson, and Thomas Dennis. I always love to look at the names of the letters pages. Here's some old comics, super prizes. So at that moment, in the thermal research module, so they're doing some thermal research, and Bill Foster, Giant Man, stumbles upon what pound cakes and Titana. And this I always loved. So, he grabs her by the head, and then Pound Cakes just hits him in the chest with this piece of like metallic tubing, and just sends him into this chasm, this endless pit of despair. Like it's just flaming death. What's in this pit? Flaming death is in that pit. That's all that's in that pit. They don't show you. It's kind of effective that they never show you the bottom of the pit. So your horrible imagination makes it worse. And Ben grows, Bill, excuse me, grows, made it. Oh, look, just crawled out of the hole. He's even bigger than when I tossed him in. Any ideas? Oh, I hate to use them. Uh, let's uh, let's use these little presents our employee. So it's like little one-shot power blasters. Boom, right in the face. Boom. And then what? Nice go. Oh, she's gonna stomp on his feet. Boom. And takes out. And he's just laying on the ground. The perspective is a little screwy, but you can see he's laying on the ground. He's just like, my arm's so heavy. Only chance. So he just, boom, clops them together. Boom. You know, I love this. Back here in comic books, the big concern was, are you too skinny? You too skinny, you know. Fun Factory ad. And then we cut back to Thundra, the main event, Thundra versus our boy Benji. And I love this. Just look at this weird angle over here. I am ashamed of this battle, Ben Grimm, ashamed that I have been forced to fight an inferior male while he is injured. Yeah, so she has a bizarre coat. Boom. Hits her right in the jaw. Yeah, well, I don't exactly get off on duking it out with broads, even if there are 7. And I love this panel. So she's doing wrestling moves on him. What is that called? The suplex. And now she's just, look at that. Look at that. She's just twisted his head off. Look at all this dialogue. Why must we struggle, Ben? In truth, when I first came from Femizonia to defeat Earth's mightiest male, I saw you merely as an adversary. But since then, I've come to realize that we are destined for each other. Nothing like flirting while you're trying to tear the head off of it, you know. So I guess she's like a praying mantis. Yet you have continually spurned my advances, maintaining this hopeless love for the blind girl Alicia. Why can't you see that we are destined, fated, to be mates? Even my absence from the Baxter building these past weeks has done nothing to dim my feelings for you as I hoped it would. So this is Tundra's way of flirting. And I have to say, man, Thundra was one of my comic book crushes. Just a great costume. Look at the freaking lightning down here. Just, she's muscular but yet feminine. Oh my God. You know, to 1979. So I was 10 years old. To my 10-year-old hormones, Thundra was the perfect woman. I'm not even joking. Like, more than Wonder Woman. I wouldn't have touched DC back then, so nothing from DC. But you know, something about Thundra. You know, I love, and she's got this chain that she uses as a weapon. So freaking cool. So Ben is worried about literally getting his head ripped off. And what does he do? He sticks his hand in the ground and throws rocks in her face. Oh, scrap. You know. If you weren't so dumb, you'd see that there ain't no such thing as perfect mates. Love ain't something two people feel because they got matching muscles. There's a lot more to it than that, lady. Lots more. And while you're pondering that pearl of wisdom, he just picks her up. And what does he do to her? He just starts like, let's see if this little half Nelson fits like it oughta. Who knows? You ain't the only one who knows any fancy wrestling moves. And I love this. She hits him. What a choreographed fight. You know where every character, you know where both characters are. You know the space. You know, it's just a lot of superhero fights. You know, you don't take the surroundings. You don't take the choreograph into consideration. Boof! And I love the smoke coming out of his mouth. Patang! Now she's slamming him against the wall. What does he do? he kicks out her leg while pulling her. So he's kicking out her leg and yanking out her arm, just totally throwing her off balance. But what does she do? She recovers and the scissor kick. Boom. And then I love this. So look at this compromising position. Oops. Ben even says it. Oops, this is very embarrassing. I don't believe it. So Ben's head is between her thighs and she's going like this and pulling him closer. And then here we got everybody just watching him, you know. Well, somebody explained to me what's going on, and she explains that her mission wasn't that particularly bad. You know, it was all a misunderstanding. Meanwhile, we got this guy who's looking for the all-important nth projector. Everything, there was nth metal, the nth projector, you know, whatever. Therefore, I must report to those I secretly serve. I'm sure they'll be pleased that their long goal nears fruition. Before the day is out, I shall completely and utterly destroy Project Pegasus. The next issue is Wonder. So, Project Pegasus, this whole issue was unnecessary. It was just a fight, chick fight. Chick, they could have went to the door and explained everything. It was totally unnecessary, and it was awesome. I just think if issue 2 of Heroic Tales is just this unnecessary fight for the whole issue, people will like complain, but it was awesome. It was awesome. And I will address the comments, and then I gotta go. I got to, whether I'm done with the comments or not, I gotta be done by 11:30. Okay, Pound Cakes is a porn name. It's a great name. It's a great name. I remember Spidey was the principal in Marvel 2-in-1. No, that was Marvel Team Up. Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man was the main guy. Marvel 2-in-1, it was the thing. Remarkable action flow. Yes. The cover is Byrne. This is John Byrne, Terry Austin. The interiors are George Perez and Gene Day. Oh, you already answered. I would think that Thunder alone could handle Ben better than Alicia. Yeah, like, you kind of root for him. I don't know about you, but I kind of rooted for, like, I understand the soap opera, the monster and the sweet woman. You know what I mean? Like, it makes for operatic storytelling, but in my heart, I was always rooting for Ben and Thundra. The only reason Thundra liked things so much is she figured she made a rock. Yeah, well, that's just it. She's raised in a hyper-violent, talk about toxic masculinity. The Femizons, it was all strength and dominance. And Ben Grimm was the only guy that could match this ideal that she's been raised with. George Perez's proclivities. Now I have a crush on Thunder. Yeah, she's awesome. So as usual, I'm done with the comic. I got a hard stop at 11:30. I got to clean up. I still have a board game set up on the table. I got to clean it up. It's one of those board games that's like 3 boxes full of miniatures and tokens and everything. So there you go. This camera's gonna kill me. It's just askew. It's just driving me nuts. So when it looks straight to me, so there you go. This is Marvel 2. This was just a classic. I know that Marvel made a trade paperback of all the Project Pegasus stories. You can get them in one trade. But Project Pegasus was like a meandering story that lasted like a long time in Marvel 2-in-1. And as you can see, like, this was a total filler issue. This did nothing to advance the plot, except for one page talking about Wonder, and it was awesome. You know what I mean? It was just a slugfest between B-list characters. But I love Thundra. Just a cool name. Usually, Herrenberg must love Thundra, But it's just a. Usually, I hate like superhero names that end in A, like Elektra or Power, stuff like that. But Thundra, it works. It works. Something about the character. Look, just oh man, her and Doc Samson should get together. But it gave 2-in-1 a focus. What did this comic, this particular issue, the Project Pegasus, KS project? Look at this great lettering. Torchbearer Studios had a great comment about Heroic Tales. He said, awesome lettering. Guys, there's a reason. There's 2 reasons I went with Bill Williams. Like, because I originally approached Eric Weathers, and he was nice, professional, said, gave me his rates, and, when are you going to be ready and stuff. And then I ended up going with Bill Williams. And I think I made the correct choice. It is just so good. So pay attention to the lettering. So there you go. I'm going to shut it down. Thanks a lot, guys. Normally I'd stay and talk a little bit longer, but like I said, I I got to get going. But thanks a lot. I got some stuff planned for next week. I got some talks planned. I know Torchbearer Studios on Wednesday. I got a comic book team up. Is that RJ's channel? I forget. But there you go. Torchbearer Studios is right. Hail all, and I'll see you. Bye-bye.